Most people are going to bet the World Cup the same old way. They're going to pick Brazil, Argentina, France, England, whatever team they love. Then they're going to throw it into a parlay and pray. But Kalshi is different. On Kalshi, you're not just betting odds, you're trading probabilities. And if you understand how those prices work, you can look at the World Cup completely different. In this video, I'm going to explain Kalshi World Cup betting in plain English, how the prices work, how to compare them to sportsbook odds, how to find possible mispriced contracts, and most importantly, how to avoid getting wrecked because you treated this like a lottery ticket instead of a market. This is not guaranteed money. This is not some magic World Cup glitch. This is about understanding price, probability, and discipline. First things first, what is Kalshi? Kalshi is a prediction market. Instead of trading sportsbook odds like minus 150 or plus 200, you're buying contracts. A contract might trade at 62 cents. That basically means the market is pricing that outcome around 62%, giving you an implied probability of a 62% chance that that play wins. If it wins, the contract pays $1. If it loses, it goes to 0. So the whole game is simple. Is the market price wrong? Let's say a World Cup team is trading at 40 cents to win a match. That means Kalshi is roughly saying they have a 40% chance. Now, if your research says their true chance is actually closer to 48%, then that might be value. But if your research says they should only be 34%, then that contract is probably overpriced. That's the whole mindset shift. You're not asking, do I think this team wins? You're asking, is the price better than the real probability? The World Cup is emotional. People bet countries they love. They overrate famous teams. They underrate ugly defensive teams. They forget about draws. They overreact to one good game. And because casual money floods into big tournaments, prices can get weird. That creates opportunity, but it also creates traps. The biggest trap is betting names instead of numbers. A great team can be a terrible bet if the price is too high. A weaker team can be a good bet if the market is disrespecting them. That's why I don't care if the team is famous. I care if the price is wrong. Now I want to run through with you guys exactly what it looks like when you see percentages instead of actual odds. All right, so what you'll see on Kalshi, for example, let's say Spain, okay? You'll see Spain at a win percentage of 70%. And let's say they're going against the USA. You'll see the USA at 30%. Now, these numbers right here are your implied probability. Now, what's good about Kalshi is like you see the actual percentage rather than odds. So in sportsbook terms, what you'd see here is this 30% would basically be plus 225. And for Spain, the odds would be minus 235. Now, one reason Kalshi, like I said, is better is because they're easier to read on the eyes, just to be honest with you, okay? Right off the bat, they're easier to read. So you know your implied probability right away, rather than on sports books. You have to create your percentage and find your percentage off the odds to understand what your implied probability percentage actually is. So it actually makes it more simpler for you to actually view. Now, another reason Kalshi is good to be a part of and prediction markets are good to be a part of are because they're peer-to-peer, okay? You are going against other people. So how it used to work was, here's the sports book, okay? Here's the sports book, and then here is all us minions, right? All us minions here that are fighting against the sports book. So it was one big bad sports book, and all us minions trying to pull money and extract money from that sports book, okay? And what happens when you start winning? When you start winning, what happens here? You get circled out, and you get casted out, okay? They throw you all the way over here. Okay, you get casted out and you can't play anymore at that sports book because you're labeled as a winner and they don't want nothing to do with you. Now, prediction markets, okay, are different. Prediction markets are all of us sitting around a table, for example, okay, with each of us having our money, and guess what? We all are just betting against each other, okay? It's not going against one big bad sports book. It's all of us going against each other, similar to like poker when you're sitting at a table, at a round table, and everybody is playing against each other. It's the same exact concept there. And there's no limiting, because as long as there's enough money in the pool, then you're good. If everybody at the table has, you know, $1 million here, let's say, for example, all the way around, okay, guess what? That's how much money's in the pool. That's how much money we can extract from everybody else, from us having the better knowledge than everybody else. Now, the interesting thing here about Kalshi is when you compare them to a sportsbooks, sometimes you will find better odds at Kalshi than you will on sportsbooks. The reason why is because what I explained before. We're peer-to-peer here, okay? Everybody is betting on different outcomes here, okay? Somebody else, like a majority of people on one side, majority of people are on the other side. If the public floods in and the public is all over a side that actually doesn't have a true probability edge, you can get a better number at the market rather than the sportsbook. So for an example right now, you have Argentina, okay, going against Austria. At DraftKings right now, the odds for Argentina to win are minus 250. That converts to a 71% implied probability. At Kalshi right now, it's at a 69% odds calculation, which means the odds at Kalshi are minus 225, thus giving you a better number than the actual sportsbook. And that's just one example. These happen all the time, every day. And here's the biggest thing is you find two edges here, okay? Your first edge is a better number than the sportsbook. Your next edge comes from your true probability here, okay? If your true probability is higher than what the number is that's on Kalshi, that's where you make your edge, and that's where you make all your money at. If our true probability is now 75%, we got a 6% edge here where we would only have a 4% at this sportsbook. Now imagine if it was 71%, we'd have a 2% edge at the markets. We'd have no edge at the sportsbook and wouldn't even play that. So that's why prediction markets are starting to take over the world of sports betting, and the sports books are completely threatened by them. Now let's dive in so I can show you exactly what that looks like on Kalshi. For example, Argentina versus Austria, just like I said, 69% here, okay? We have 69% for the win, for them to win, as in the sports books are giving us a higher number than that. So right off the bat, you have an edge just being on the prediction market because of the odds and how different the odds are there. Now remember what I said about the volume pool, about all of us being in a circle and a table, and there's $1 million, let's say, in the pool, and we all get a share of that because of what we're betting. Well, for example, in this game right here, there's a little bit over $32 million in the pool. So you could bet a crazy amount of money. So for example, if you wanted to bet, let's say, $250,000 on Argentina, you could do that. If you went on DraftKings right now and put $250,000 even in the area to make a bet, it would not go through. They would not take that bet because the sportsbook has too much to risk to be able to actually give you that type of bet. As in, when it comes to prediction markets, again, you're just going to be in the volume pool here, okay? You're just going to be taking the pool of somebody else's money when you win, if you win that bet. This is why I highly recommend prediction markets, because if you want to take this to the next level and you actually want to win consistently and win at a level where you can make consistent money and not worry about getting banned or any of that garbage, you have to use the prediction markets because it's the easiest way to do it and it's stress-free. You don't have to worry about making 30 different accounts at a sportsbook because they're all getting banned or you're getting limited to all of them. You don't have to worry about that. You log into one place, you make your bets, and you go about your day. Now let's talk about the research that you should be doing. Now before touching a World Cup market, you want to know who is injured, who needs the result, what is the team's style, can the underdog slow the game down, is the favorite overpriced because of public hype, is the draw being ignored, did the line already move, and is the current price still worth it? Well, this is where I would use the Linemaker AI. The Linemaker AI is the first software that actually tells you every single aspect of a game and gives you the best possible edge within that game. Instead of spending an hour bouncing between odds screens, injury reports, stats, and matchup breakdowns, you just ask the AI something simple, like break down this World Cup match from a Kalshi betting perspective. Compare the contract price to sportsbook's implied probability. Show me where the market may be mispriced and explain the biggest risks. That's the point. Not to have AI magically print winners, but to research faster, compare more data, and avoid guessing. Now here's the boring part that actually matters. You cannot go all in because it's a World Cup. You can't double up because you lost yesterday. You can't chase because your country blew a lead in the 89th minute. Keep the bet sizing small, 1 to 2% per position, up to 5% max. No emotional bombs, no revenge bets, no this team can't lose nonsense, because yes, they absolutely can. You need to keep the same discipline that you would always keep. Just because you're working on a market where there's no limit, you can bet as much money as you want, doesn't mean that you're going to go all in every single time. So here's the simple Kalshi World Cup framework. Look at the contract price, convert it to probability, compare it to sportsbook odds, research the matchup, identify the risk, only bet if the price is still wrong, size it like a professional, not like a maniac, and use the prediction markets so that way you have the most powerful way to make the most amount of money. Kalshi can be a powerful way to bet the World Cup because it forces you to think like a trader. Price first, probability second, your opinion last. Most bettors do the opposite. They start with their opinion, they get emotional, then go hunting for a price that confirms what they already wanted to believe. That's how you lose. So before you bet the World Cup on Kalshi, ask one question. Is this actually mispriced? Or do I just want action? And if you want to research these markets faster, compare odds, break down matchups, and stop betting blind, that's exactly why I built the Linemaker AI. So use the link in the description to start your free trial right now, so you could actually use it for the World Cup and actually start making money like the other thousands of people that are already using it. I'm providing all the tools for you to succeed in sports betting. All you have to do is put in the work. As always, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then,